Hello, everyone, and welcome to Two Goals. I'm Maria Laura,
And I'm Katia.
and today we're happy to present you to Javier Marco Verdejo. Javier is a sports lawyer, founder and partner of Marco Verdejo Abogados, and patron for the Foundation for Diversity and Chief Operating Officer of Leadership Women Football. Welcome, Javier, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
Hi, Maria Laura. Hi, Katia. Nice to meet you. Thanks for your invitation and congratulations for your initiative.
Thank you, Javier, and welcome. And Javier, we normally start our interviews with the very first moment when our guests fell in love with football. But in your case, we want to start by asking you about your baptism as a top talented player, your debut in the under-70s Spanish national team. What do you recall from these times and this experience, and how was it to play next to huge names such as Sergio Ramos?
Um, yeah, it's truly rewarding and one of the best memories of my childhood. I started playing football very young, at 8 years old. My parents enrolled me in the school football team, and from that moment, I began to combine my studies with sports. I believe that sports in general should be installed in children at the school age is obviously very important for personal development, and that studies are also important for a future. Um, all of this was installed in me by my parents, and I left this time knowing that I had to be the best in school and on my football team. I have an history that my father, he always told me that if I failed a subject, they will cancel my inscription in the football team, and I will not go to Mestalla again to see my team, Valencia Football Club. And for that reason, I never failed any subject. But yeah, I was lucky not to play football very badly, and at age 14, Valencia Football Club called my father and told him that they wanted me to play there. For me, it was a huge joy, and at the same time, it's a great responsibility. I am Valencian, and my team is Valencia Football Club. And well, I signed in Valencia Football Club Academy, and while I continued studying obviously, because it was very important for me and my parents to always be focusing on it. Okay, and that time I was lucky another time, and I was called by the under 17 Spanish national team. For me, it was an honor to defend your country, and at the same time, a privilege to be able to share a dressing room. I don't know what is the name, but I think that's the dressing room.
Yes.
with players who today are world champions. For example, David Silva, or players who play in the best leagues of the world. Gerard Piqué, Cesc Fabregas. But it's important to tell you that in this time, we are all teenagers with the illusion of being a professional player one day. In my opinion, you live in a bubble. And the most important thing is have a good company, a good atmosphere, and try to hear people who can tell you about the reality of life and the sacrifices of an elite athlete.
Thank you, Javier, for sharing that with us. I mean, the idea here is to try and get to know you as a person and as a professional. And unfortunately, after you face, unfortunately that you face an injury, which is everyone's, as an athlete, it is a nightmare for many, but you actually started studying a law degree where you ultimately ended up specializing in sports law. Have you ever dealt with women cases or women in football, women women's football cases while you were doing your degree?
Yeah, as I've told you, an elite athlete must be prepared for everything. In this moment, as an important challenge, your family, your friends, and your team. Your football coach must be prepared, the athlete, for anything that may happen. I had a very serious knee injury I think that in the worst moment at 17 years old. In a season that could be very important for me, both at Valencia Football Club and in the national team. But in this moment, started a new challenge for me. From the beginning, I was clear that I wanted to study a degree in the future because I wanted to relate my profession with my passion. In this case, I study law and political science, and some specialties in sports law because I studied an official master in sports law and management and some courses about this matter. I think that if you want to be competent in a profession, you must study hard and continuously, like an athlete who needs to train every day to reach a competition in an optimal conditions. In our profession, that's the same. It's my opinion. In this case, I've worked with men and women. I've had colleagues who are men and women. I have clients in the office who are men and women. I have bosses who are men and women. And in any professional field, I have dealt with men and women without any difference, and trying all the time to be honest and a good professional. So it's true that in recent years, there has been an increase in cases because here, for example, in Spain, has a lot of women professional athletes. They need counseling in sports law. For example, there are more foreigners who play in first division football here in Spain. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Valencia, Sevilla, which is necessary to advise on contracts. And another important matter is tax matter is very important for all the sports professionals. And in many cases, the negotiation is with a woman who is a CEO of a club or a sports director of a club. So in this case, women in football and women's football, it's the same. In this case, luckily for lawyers, because it involves more work for athletes, because rights are recognized, and this is good for everyone. And in conclusion, it's my opinion. All of this only means that all the women's sports industry, it's a reality right now, and I think that we grow in a correct direction.
Yeah, and we are in a podcast about women in football and women's football, and we know that in football overall, there's a need to have more women representation. But exactly and out of curiosity in sports, when we talk about sports lawyers, there's more women than in other fields in the football industry. Do you have many women's colleagues as sports lawyers? Or, for example, is this field, do you think it's where we need more female representation? And specifically, how important is to have sports lawyers more involved with the women's game? And here we have the example that in the case of transfer deals, for example, if the players are not professional, you don't, and I'm being sarcastic here too, you don't have the need to have a lawyer if you don't have a contract. So how important is to have more sports lawyers in the women's game?
Yeah, I think that sports lawyers are very important always, because we have a reality in the sports industry. But in my opinion, this trend changed over the years. I know many lawyers, both men and women, and many women who are dedicated to this sector, who have training, studies, and merits far above many men, or in comparison with many men. But I think that it's not a question to know who is better or who is worse, because the main objective, in my opinion, is to consider us all equal. We are in a globalized world where we want to have a good results and offer our clients an extraordinary advice or service. We must be aware that advice is not better or worse if it is done by a man or a woman. But the most important thing is a well training and the best professionalism. Okay? Yeah, it's my opinion. And from Leadership Women Football, in this case, we are clear defenders of visibility to women in football, and we want give a voice in this sector, but with an inclusive vision between men and women.
Javier, let's go into this very particular part of your profile, which is taking part of LWF, which is Leadership Women's in Football. And tell us, how did you enter this platform? Was the gender equality in football something that you always care about?
Yeah, but this story is curious. It's curious, but I have a great luck to know my partners in crime and friends, Reyes, Beber, and also my dear Monica Esperidiao. They are two warriors who always fought for gender equality in football. Leadership Women Football was born in 2018 while we were having a coffee in Madrid when we decided to do something in football, because it's our passion and it must be related with women and gender equality. So in this moment, we decided together with another colleague called Carlota to create a platform who promote and give visibility and voice all women within the world of football. I've been concerned with social issues. I think they are the true impulse to our reality and a truly globalized world. For this reason, we trust in this platform because we have a little objective. And this objective is change the world. That is a little objective.
Yeah, and you're the Chief Operating Officer of the LWF. Can you describe to us what exactly you do in this role?
Yeah, I said that in Leadership Women Football, we are Reyes, Monica, and me. And more than talking about my role in Leadership Women Football, if you allow me, I would like to mention my two teammates. It's Reyes and Monica. For me, Reyes and Monica, it's a honor to work with them, because it's a real friend. You know? Mm-hmm. We are a true team, and we work together because we want to all projects become a reality. My function is basically to coordinate from the economic and management point of view all the activities and programs that we offer, that Leadership Women Football offer. Reyes as president and CEO of the platform, and Monica as director of the academy. Like I said, both are a true inspiration for me, and work with them is incredible. they are two professionals who love their work and have an extraordinary social conscience. Race works in the institutional part, the organization of the Congress, and while Monica charged the management of the academy and all the programs. But my function is coordinate all the economic and management point of view of the all the activities programs.
So you're kind of like the man with the money at the Women's Congress, right? In a way. No, but actually, we keep discussing about how we need both the diversity in two ways. Like it shouldn't be a rarity that you as a man work with supporting these causes in women's football. But do you think, how far are we from having more support and representation of men at events or movements like this?
In my opinion, we are not far away. We have seen that the support and representation of men in this side, in this kind of event, is becoming more common. I don't know. I think it's my opinion. In this moment, we must be conscious and we must believe what is happening, because gender equality and the leadership woman and the leadership of women in football is already a reality. Of course, we must continue working, because right now a lot of people think that football is only a matter of men. But in this case, we have a lot of data and more and more position of responsibility of women in this sector that make us think that this trend is changing. For example, in our Congress, the Leadership Women Football Congress, because brings as speakers some of the main market leaders, such as Sari Barman, who is a FIFA director of women's football, Elvira Andres Monte, vice president of the Spanish Football Federation, Aline Pellegrino, coordinator of women's competitions at CBF, Monserrat Jimenez, deputy general secretary and legal director of CONMEBOL, Joan Muñoz, member of FIFA Council, and many more. That I say that is our reality, and we only need belief in us.
Yeah. And at Leadership Women Football, there's a mentorship program in your resources, and you're a mentor yourself. Can you explain to us what the mentorship program is all about? And if you can add, for you, being a mentor is a responsibility, or do you reckon it is also a learning tool for yourself with the shared experiences?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for me, it's a great responsibility to be able to offer all the people who are part of Leadership on Football program my values, my experience, and all possible contacts to be able to develop not only on a personal level but also on a professional level. Is the most important thing in my opinion. We want to develop or help to develop the people, not only a personal level, neither a professional level. Personal and professional is very, very, very important for us. Yeah, from Leadership on Football, we want all the people could be able to develop that I say, not only from a professional point of view, also a personal level. Also, we can offer them or contacts within the sports industry so they can progress in this passionate work.
Javier, why do you think there is more and more leadership programs for women, especially if we're speaking about football? Do you think it is because it is still considered a men's sport and women need to be twice as prepared and secure to take leadership positions? Maybe you can suggest, maybe there should be also some leadership programs for men?
No, it's true that in many areas there are still differences between men and women, but For that, we are all here. And this is the main reason of leadership on football, to fight for the equality of men and women. I think that we need to change our vision in order to believe that the woman should be prepared or secure to take leadership positions. We are already in a reality, and both men and women are equally prepared to take leadership positions in the field, in the offices, or in the or in the government. But it's only my opinion. But this is the main reason for leadership women football. We need to fight for the equality in the world with between men and women.
Exactly. I think I can speak for Maria too. We completely agree in that. As you're a mentor and you are part of LWF, you have insights and for sure some reasons to spread the awareness of the necessity to participate in a mentorship program for women. How important is it for a woman to participate in a leadership program and have a mentor like yourself?
In this case, I'm not the best mentor. For me, the best mentor are Reyes and, and Monica. No,
You're passing the ball. You're passing the ball.
It's a joke. It's a joke. But for me, the most important thing is not the mentor who wants to participate in a leadership on football program. Needs to be a honest person who wants to change the world. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's our little objective: change the world. Needs to promote the visibility of women in football and gender diversity, work with equality and equity, where men and women work together and foment the diversity and the empowerment. And obviously, trust in yourself. It's the most important thing.
Well, Javier, unfortunately, we're coming to the end of this episode. We have had a lot of fun with you on recording and off recording so far, but just because we really believe in your project. We can't wait to attend the Congress, the e-Congress that you mentioned, since the change of the pandemic. So at the end, we really want you to close with this. It's more like a question, maybe it's kind of like an invitation for people out there. If you have to convince someone out there that she should take part in a leadership mentorship, what kind of benefits would you say she would acquire in order to convince her to start taking part of LWF?
To answer that question, I think it's the same that I said before, because it's not about convincing, but we want to give the opportunity to all the people who want to get involved in the world of sports, to be able to listen to people like Reyes or Monica, who have a great experience in the world of sports, especially in football. From Leadership Women Football, we can offer the necessary tools to develop your professional life in this sector through our knowledge, experience, and in many cases with our contacts. The world of sports is very difficult. If you are not inside, you don't really know it. the sport is very, 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 very difficult. But with this kind of programs, I think that you can improve and know this big industry. The most important thing is have a clear objective, and we want to change the world with the sports and the equality and equity between men and women. This is our main objective, and it's the reason of the leadership woman football.
Yeah, and we also want to invite everyone. I don't know if we have the responsibility to do that, but we want to invite everyone, especially women, of course, to take part in this case of LWF. Why? Because this is overall a learning tool. It's a learning tool for everybody, and also it's a huge opportunity for networking. You can, of course, this time will be an e-congress. It will not be physical, but you can also meet people, and this is what we need in football, and that's why also this podcast exists, is to create a huge network. So thank you, Javier, for being here. It was a pleasure to have you here with us. Thank you for accepting our invitation and challenge to be here and share your work in this platform. Because in the end, there's no gender in football. It's football overall, the game we love. In your case, Valencia, we already know. And you're an example that there's no space for segmentation in this case. Even when we talk about women in football, there's space for diversity and inclusion. And we are all part of the game. So thank you. And to all of you listening, thank you for being there and listening to us once again. And you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram with the name 2 Goals Podcast. Thank you and take care.